Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Ram Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Gaur Pramanande Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Thank you for all joining. This is by the grace of Mother Vishnu Priya. She gave me the Zoom contact so we could post this on the Zoom.
No sound, right?
Yes. Okay. You all can hear, right? Oh, Radha Radha Prabhu, very good. I see you. The whole Brahmachari gang in Dilan. Very nice. You're wonderful devotee. Thank you, Prabhus. Om Jnana Timirandasa Jnanjana Salakaya चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति पदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् अद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनीति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे। Hare Krishna. Radharadha Prabhu, you can hear me?
Yes, Prabhu, I can hear you.
All right,
Hare
very
Krishna.
nice. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So today we are beginning by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Guru Varga and all the Vaishnav and Vaishnavi and the assembled Vaishnava Vaishnavis. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and above all, Sri Divine Couple Radha and Krishna. We are beginning this 5 days Harikatha on Krishna. Today, Krishna Janmashtami. Today we are going to discuss the basic foundation. How do we ascertain truth? कभी कैसे सत्य वस्तु को मिल सकता है? How do you ascertain? How do you know what is truth? What is the process to know the truth? Krishna is Param Satta, Satta Vastu. But how do you know what is Satta Vastu and how to ascertain it? How do you examine and detect that this is false, this is not false, this is right, okay, this is, how do you know? So we're going to discuss just in a brief, and then we'll go discuss that how our Acharya has established. And also, I hope they joined. I don't know. No, they didn't join yet. The Khurana family, they sent me some questions. Very nice question, Abhay Prabhu and his wife, Mother Asalata, and Sundari and Kishori, and I forgot the name, oh my God. Hira and one more. Okay. So how do we, I don't think they are hearing. They will join, but they're not hearing. How do you ascertain truth first? So Srila Prabhupada, in his lecture, there's a famous verse. It says, Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labdha. No medhaya, no bahuna srutena. Jam eva esha binite teno labhas. Tasyesha Atma binute tanum sam. It is not possible to know the absolute truth or the spiritual truth by lecturing. What is that sound? By lecturing or by intelligence. If somebody is very intelligent, he can capture the truth. No, this is not possible. This sloka says, Nayamatma pravachanana labha. Then no bahuna, no srutena. And if you hear Veda for so many life, you may know the truth. No. Then how you'll know the truth? Only those who surrender the Lord can come to know the truth by His grace. Everybody understood that? If you say, this, look at this chubby boy, he does not eat during the day. What are you thinking now? How is he chubby? Oh, Nitya Gauranga Prabhu, you join. Very good.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah.
I don't see your face.
I didn't turn on my video. Okay.
Okay. So how do you, so if I tell you this chubby boy does not eat during the day, what does that mean?
He eats during the night.
I didn't say that. See, you assuming.
Assuming, yeah.
That's good. That's good. So this is how the truth is filtered. They hear something and they imagine or speculate on something. And if you say on the top of this mountain in North Carolina, there is some fire because smoke is coming. It may not have any smoke at all. It could be some mist, frost.
Yeah.
So assuming, now I'm going to give you a practical example. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, in his house, the supreme absolute truth was lying down, unconscious. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And two persons, can you imagine in your house, the supreme absolute truth, Krishna, come, and you and your brother-in-law are arguing whether he is God, and he says, no, he's not God. Now, Prabhupada is supporting both sides. Prabhupada said, it's true. If somebody say, oh, this person is God, how you accept? You follow the logic. He's saying, how do you accept? Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says, how do you know this is absolute truth? Then Gopinath Acharya, he says, he is absolute truth because this is the symptom of his body. You see that? Eight Sattvic Bhav is coming. As a eight Sattvic Bhav, so many people can get that too. Then he's giving a logic that in this Kali Yuga, one who is always chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and spreading Krishna consciousness, he is absolute truth. And he quote those verses. And we all know those, right? Shanga Pangasra Parshadam, Jagge Sankirtana Praye Jajanti Hi Sumedasa. All these verses. Then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya gave a logic that, but in Kali Yuga, there is no Yuga Avatar. So like this. Then at the end, Gopinath Acharya says, all this argument is useless. You will never find out by arguing and putting sloka and quoting this, quoting that who is the absolute truth. So then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says, how do you know what is absolute truth then? He said, only Anuman Praman Nahe Krishna Ishwar Tattva Gene Kripa Bine Ishwarere Keho Nahi Jane. He quoted this verse, Anuman Praman Nahe Ishwar Tattva Gene. You cannot know the absolute truth, or you cannot ascertain absolute truth by guessing or by some reference or inner interference. No, Inference means like you think you heard somewhere, or you guessing, like some speculation. So then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says, how do you know that this is absolute truth? He said, because I got the mercy. So only by the mercy, now you can say, okay, Shastra tells us what is the truth. How do you know Shastra? Oh, Shastra is hidden in the heart of a great sadhu. So if the Shastra is in the heart of a great sadhu, then when that sadhu will reveal, only when he feels, Madhyamadikari, that you are a candidate to get that mercy, then he will reveal to you. Otherwise, it's not possible. So bottom line of the this argument that how to ascertain truth, Gopinath Acharya, he ended with this, Athapite deva padambujadaya prasadalesha anugrihita evahi janati tattam bhagavan mahimno na channam chiram vichinnam. And this is Brahmaji himself, the first creator. He says, only one who is blessed with the mercy of the Lord can know his true nature. On the other hand, those who try empirically, guessing game or inference, to understand his inconceivable glories can study and speculate forever without arriving at the proper conclusion. So everybody understood that point? The absolute truth you can ascertain only by the mercy of a sadhu who has the truth in his heart. Just by studying or by going around and speaking about is not going to, or by austerity or by charity, you'll get some pious activity, but you'll never come to the ultimate conclusion of the absolute. Now we are going to address today's, we had a discussion of devotees putting some question. So Abhay Prabhu's wife, Mother Asalata Devi Dasi, and daughter Sundari and Dhira, they put one question. So every day we're going to answer 2 questions or 3 questions. We have like 10, 12 questions. And some questions are not relevant today. Like Mother Vishnupriya asked a question, it is relevant on the Sunday. It's about Vrindavan Lila. Today's question relevant, they asked the question, how can we understand that Krishna has always been and has no origin? Everybody hearing my question? How can you understand that Krishna always has been and he has no origin? We see that everything in existence has a cause, and how does Krishna not have any cause? That's a very good question, no? That's a very good question. So I found some answer from our Prabhupada's book and our Jiva Goswami Pad's book. First of all, who asks this kind of question? Generally, who thinks of causation, causation philosophy? There is one group of scientists in this world. Yeah, they analytically study causation philosophy. So there should be cause for everything, because how do you create a perception? When you say, I perceive this, you have to have a perception. Without perception, how can you have a perceived? Everybody is understanding that point? So there must be a cause, like we see in generally, 2 persons get together, get married, and they produce a child. And if you say, who is the cause of the child? The parents. Who is the cause of the parents or their parents? But anybody ever found anywhere a bunch of bricks lying on the floor, and you come back after a few years, there is automatically a building is up? Anybody ever found? No, there is no such thing. Until somebody is the cause of that construction, brick does not build, atom does not build automatically body or everything. So the causation philosophy, there must be a cause, like two people meet, as we explained that. So what should we do? Search out the original cause of everything. And you will conclude, when you come to the origin of all the cause, you will come to this conclusion that Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradi Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. When you come to a point that this person has no cause, he is the absolute truth and origin of all cause. Even from atheistic point, if you research what is the cause of this, what is the cause, and you keep on going, you come to a point where there is no cause of one substance. He is the origin of all cause. And that is Krishna himself claimed, Brahmaji claims like this. So to understand clearly, what do we need to do? We have to accept Guru, spiritual master, who is heavy. Guru means heavy. Logu means light. Heavy with Shastric philosophy of what? Of eternity. Not any Shastra. Shastra that discuss the relationship, discuss about eternal relationship, eternal form, eternal existence. They can remove your doubt and establish the real truth in the heart. Just like a Buddhism, because they did not accept the scriptures, they did not accept the authority, then they are considered Gnostic. They are not considered religion theistic. So system of causation, I'm going to end with this, system of causation also has a cause. Everybody understood that point? System of causation also has a cause, and everything must have a beginning. Everything must have a beginning. And God, Krishna, claims he is the causeless of all cause. This is the conclusion. Krishna is the causeless of all cause. So then try to see the intention, purpose of that causeless cause, Krishna, then everything will make sense. When you come to that conclusion, causeless cause, God is Krishna, then see his purpose and intention for the creation, why he created me, where I come from, what is the purpose of this world. But what is the bottom line, last conclusion? The purpose of this world, everybody please remember this, purpose of this world is beyond the world. This is the conclusion. If you follow, purpose of this world is beyond the world. You must write it down. And another way to look at this question, very nice question. I thought they are simple girls, but they are very thoughtful, very deep philosophical question. Another way to look at it, that all this cause of God or cause of anything or everything is under the spell of time, space, and matter. And so you must write it down. Krishna claims, he said, I am the, we consider Krishna, transcendental is God beyond the world. When we think of God, Krishna is transcendental, which is beyond time, beyond space, beyond matter. So it is irrelevant with respect to God existent. Why? You know why? It's a very simple word. He simply is, I-S. Because that's all it is. It is ultimately all Krishna. Okay. Then we are going to discuss the second question. Let me see the second question. What is the second question? She put. Second question they asked, why the two-armed form of Krishna considered the highest? Okay, I'll address this and then we'll stop, and then tomorrow we'll do the third question and fourth question, because these are very good questions. Anybody ever thought that? Why two-armed form of Krishna considered the highest? Okay, I'm going to give a few clue what I thought about it. I got this question last night while I was sleeping. When I woke up early morning, I saw this was very nice, exciting. I was thinking whole day, and then I found some reference also. So I'll give you some. One is, first of all, who are the audience asking this question? Who are the audience? The devotees. You follow? So for the devotee, I'll give you this answer, because for me, they don't ask how many hand God has. Any Kormi asks, if they ask, they must be, they are aware. So first of all, let's see. If it is for the devotee, then I will address this way. If you are a Rashik Bhakta means if you are expert in relishing Krishna consciousness, then you will come to understand seeing two-hand form of Krishna manifests the highest sweetness in the heart of devotee. Now, anybody remembers what happened when Krishna appeared in a four-hand form in front of Vasudeva and Devaki? What happened? They immediately paid obeisances. And even when Krishna came back after killing Kamsa, when they saw, they said, oh my God, he's the God, our son, God, but they forgot that their son is the priority. So they are so disturbed, they didn't know whether they should hug him, go rush to meet their son, or they should pay obeisances because he's God. So why I'm bringing this point? Because the question asked, why the two-armed form of Krishna considered the highest? The mother Ashalata asked, the highest because it is giving the nourishment to the heart of the devotee in a Vatsulya Ras, in a Swakha Ras. I'm sure you all remember in 11th chapter Bhagavad Gita, what happened to Arjuna when he saw universal form. Was he happy? He was not happy.
No.
What did he ask to Krishna? Please, show, I'm afraid of this universal form. He wanted, and then Krishna showed him four-armed form. Four-armed. Was Arjuna happy? No. He wanted to see his friend, two-handed form. Everybody understand why two-hand form is the highest? Because of nourishment, because of happiness, that the friend Arjuna feels so happy with two-hand form. Finally, he thinks, okay, he's my friend, I can hug him. Even though I saw he has unlimited hands, unlimited mouth and face, everything. So this is one point. Another point also, we can meditate. These are good questions, very good question. You remember Mitra Binda, when Krishna, Krishna did 8 types of wedding and that's how he married the eight princes. And it's a very strange that how Krishna displayed this 8 type. He married in a Rakshasa style, first wife, Rukmini. Rakshasa means you go and kidnap the girl in front of all the people once her. And that's what he did in front of Shishupal and all these thousands. Prabhupada writes in Krishna book that Rukmini was so beautiful that when Rukmini came out, they fainted. But what did Krishna do? He did not even look at anybody. He goes there and kidnap her and put her on his chariot and he ran away. This is called Rakshasa wedding. That's how Rakshasa get married. I'm not giving the idea to anybody, but I'm saying how Krishna displayed this. So now what happened? Look at this. Rukmi, her brother, in the back, running with the horses and shooting arrow to Krishna. And Krishna also shooting arrow. Now in the case of Mitra Binda, when Narad Muni asked Mitravinda, Mother, you are also kidnapped by the, I mean, not kidnapped, but you are taken by the Lord, and he had to fight. He said, he had to fight? What do you mean? He said, how did you feel? He said, I felt complete shelter. A shelter with his two hands. He embraced me first time in my life. I felt like I'm completely his. He loves me. He cares for me. Wait a minute. On our back, there's thousands of soldiers were shooting arrow at Krishna. What did Krishna do? He extended another two hand and started shooting all this. Did she see it? If she would see it, would she feel comfortable to hug Krishna? No. So she felt, she did not know even Krishna had a four hand. Only Narad Muni came to know. And Narad Muni writes. So point is, the two-armed form of Krishna is adored many, many, many times. Many, many past times we see this. And because also Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, the highest evidence tells us so, that logically he is God. Prabhupada writes, we worship God where? At home. Krishna is the form of God at home. Like we don't worship the God in the court as a judge. Everybody understood that concept? He has a different form. You cannot go, if your son is a judge or your father is a judge, doesn't matter. You cannot just give him a hug in the court. You have to wait. They have to allow you, or judge has to come out from his chair. You cannot have a party with your son if he's a judge. So, but we don't worship the judge God. We worship the same judge. When he comes back to his home, we want to be part of his home family. That's called Vrindavan. So that's why we adore the two-hand form of Krishna as the highest. And tomorrow's question is, I'm just going to read it, I'm not going to answer it. How can God have a mother and father? How can he be born if he is the origin of all things? Very nice question. Tomorrow we'll answer third, fourth, and fifth. Today's subject matter, I'm going to just give a little foundation that is God partial or impartial? Why does he perform Leela? Why he even comes to this world? So Srila Prabhupada writes in New York, 1966, 8th December. I'm going to read to you what Prabhupada writes. He said, do you think that God is in any way partial? He writes this question. And he's asking this to his disciple. No. Then he says, no. It is just like a sunshine. Sunshine is open for everyone. But one who does not take advantage of the sunshine, he keeps himself within the dark room. Or the sun, what sun can do? Similarly, this partiality of God, that he takes special interest of the devotees, because the devotees are able to take the supreme, the complete sunshine of Krishna. It is not the partiality of the sun or Krishna, but it is the capacity of the person who can take full advantage of the sunshine. One should come out of the darkness and take full advantage of the sunshine. So sun is open for everyone. Similarly, God is open for everyone. One who comes out of this darkness of ignorance, he takes more advantage of Krishna's favor. So this is how Srila Prabhupada explains. Now, in Bhagavatam, many slokas I read, this question is coming back. Is Krishna partial? Sometimes even we think as a devotee, gosh, I'm doing chanting for 20 years, 40 years. Where am I going? Is Krishna not liking me, or he doesn't want to give me love of Godhead, or he just likes the other devotee? What did I do wrong? Doubt comes. So I'm going to tell you in a short, you can read on 7th canto, first chapter, text 1, that King Yudhishthir, he asked this question to, the whole chapter, whole canto, 7th canto is based on this one question. So the answer Narad Muni gave, I'm going to paraphrase what I remember, is that God does not play favorites, but he has his favorites. Very unique. This is my way of thinking. God does not play favorite, but he has his favorite. So Krishna does not play favorite because he does not discriminate. He just reciprocates. And though he has his favor is available for everyone. Such is his sweet transcend. And this is very beautiful. So now question is, I'm going to ask you, the audience, how do you feel? Well, you all look, I'm looking all of you, look like grown up. But just imagine you are in a school. How do you feel if your parents are partial towards your sibling? Would you be comfortable when your teacher is biased towards your classmate? A serious question. It is natural to expect from one's superior or guardian a similar treatment as one's equals receive. Any discrepancy, this is my way of thinking, in that leads to disappointment. Even in our temple life, I saw, sometime I would think, why this Maharaj likes that brahmachari and I am also a good brahmachari, but he doesn't talk, he doesn't show any interest. This idea is there. So perception of partiality is painful. We all agree. Could demotivate people for sure, even slacken their spirit. What if one sees partiality in Krishna or God? Is it possible? That's the question. So I'm going to start with that. Isn't God equal to all? Answer is yes. God is equiposed. Try to grasp from that angle. He is eternal Father of all living beings. The Supreme Lord, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, you all know that verse, I'm sure. Samaham sarva bhutesu na me deshasti na priya je bhajanti tumam bhakta mai te deshu chapyaham. And Krishna says, if I recall, paraphrasing proper translation, I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is my friend. He is in me, and I am also a friend in him. So this is Krishna's proposition, that he is not, but at the same time he is. We were debating the English language of it, and maybe with Gorachand or somebody. Okay, with you. And then we came to this conclusion that Krishna is impartially partial. This is what from that sloka we key point. If you look at that verse 926 Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is impartially partial. He's saying partial and he said, no, I'm not partial. I'm actually impartial. So he shows favoritism. That's what it is. Lord Krishna descended into this world in various incarnations to revive dharma, paritranaya sadhunam, vinashaya cha dushkitam, annihilate the miscreant. If God is equal to all, why should he protect his devotee and punish the demon? This question will still bother us. To favor the demigod, the Lord incarnated as Barahadev. Isn't true? We know it. And killed a great demon named Hiranyaksha. Later, the same God came as a Nishingadev and killed his brother Hiranyakashipu to reinstate Indra as the king of heaven. Then Lord again appeared as Bamandev. And what did he do? Prabhupada said actually he cheated Bali Maharaj, took away the kingdom from Bali Maharaj by cheating. So when you think of those pastimes, what goes in our mind? When the demigods and demons churning the milk ocean, Samudra Manthan we call the chapter, nectar appeared, okay? At that time, the Lord came in the form of a beautiful woman named Mohini Murti. What did she do, Prabhus? She cheated the demons, gave all the nectar to the demigods. He even beheaded the demon Rahu, who tried to drink the nectar in disguise form. So these several times the Lord cheated, subdued, killed the demon, showed his favoritism towards the demigod. He is therefore known as Surapriya. Even that word is there, Surapriya. There is few verses even Krishna reminding about when you think of Surapriya. Why is this disparity? That question will come. This difference in treatment is not exactly God's partiality. Now I'm going to take the other side, the true side of Vaishnavism, how we see it. Why? But his reciprocal nature. Some expect God to fulfill their material desire, like Dhruva Maharaj. Some expect to be one with him, like, can you name somebody? Ramdas Biswas, Mahaprabhu rejected him. Sarvanga Rishi, he was very happy with Ram. And he said, what do you want? He said, I want to merge in your body. Ram says, Tathastu, let be it. But some selflessly served Krishna with no expectation, called Hare Krishnas, in return. Who are the emblem of that? Like Brajavasis. Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 4.11, if we all remember, Je jathamam prapaddate tangstataiva bhajamyaham. So prapaddante tangstataiva bhajamyaham, that is why now he reciprocates with the people according to the mood in which they approach him. Isn't? So then, that is why different people achieve different results according to their endeavor. Seems similar? Everybody understood what I'm trying to say? Human eyes, this is my own opinion, human eyes can see the external endeavor, but divine eyes, like Prabhupada's eye, Prabhupada said this, and that's why I'm just paraphrasing, because I was very moved when I heard that lecture many years back. Divine eyes see the attitude behind the endeavor and reciprocate accordingly. And Prabhupada's life, he did exactly like this, and that's how Krishna deals. This is, however, cannot be called as God's partiality or Prabhupada's partiality. If you can remember this, so the devotee sees the attitude behind the work, not just endeavor. Like Prabhupada said, two person going to work in the factory, one is devotee, one is karmi. They look like same work, same road they're going, doing the same thing, but their attitude is completely different. Everybody is with me? So we have to see the attitude, not the endeavor only. Attitude is more important, as Prabhupada is explaining. So one who is influenced by the three material modes, namely Satta, Raja, Tama, what they call goodness, assertiveness, aggressive or passion, and inertia or ignorance, I call assertive because it's easy to grasp it. Exhibits partiality on a material plane. But the Lord is transcendental to these modes. He is beyond the dualities of happiness and distress. We should remember always. Who is God? God is transcendental beyond the nature. We should always remember this, that our understanding of God is transcendental beyond the nature. And He is beyond the dualities of happiness and distress. He is self-sufficient, Atmaram. does not derive happiness from the demigod. Because next few days I'm going to narrate a lot of pastimes. Those doubts should not come. Why he did this, why he did this. I'm just clearing the foundation, a solid foundation. So Krishna has nothing to do, nothing to achieve by favoring the demigod, nor destroying the demon. He has nothing to achieve from either one. Thus he needs not to be partial like ordinary selfish materialistic people. Now you can say, okay, you just narrated Prabhu few minutes back about the Amandev, Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha. Can you now put it in a proper perspective? Okay, let's see this again. On the Samudra Manthan, the churning the milk ocean, there's a famous verse I sometimes recite. It's in 8.9.28. Evam sura suragana samadesha kala eta artha karma matayopi phala vikalpa tatramrita suragana phalam anjasa spura yad pada pankaja raja sarayana daitaha. The place, time, the cause, purpose, activities, ambition were all the same for both the demigod and the demons. How beautifully Sukdev Goswami narrated that God is impartial. But the demigod achieved one result, demons another. Because the demigod are always under the shelter of the dust of the Lord's lotus feet. You remember what was the law in the churning ocean for the demigod? The Lord says, do not ask anything. Only what I give you, I'll give you. But as the things pops from the churning, do not hanker, and they restrain. We need to become like this because we are devotee, and demigods are devotee also. Then they were happy at the end. So now you see how Krishna actually saying this is not, he's not partial to either one. He's just doing reciprocating, as we said, reciprocating. The demons, however, not having that kind of shelter at the lotus feet of God, were unable to achieve the result they desired. So one who is satisfying the Lord gets his special mercy, attention, while others don't. And even Srila Prabhupada, I remember in the purport, he said something like, any activities performed for the Supreme Lord is permanent. Even you drinking water, before you drink the water, you chant Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu, my Lord. For your pleasure, I'm maintaining this body so I can serve you. Even though you are drinking water apparently, but you chanting 3 times Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu. He told this to Tatpar Maharaj, he taught me. Prabhupada said, just chant these 3 names. So then, for your service, I'm going to maintain this body. I need to drink some water. Just the thought, immediately that activity become eternal. It's no more material. That drinking activity, even for your own body, is spiritual. And it's not spiritual, Prabhupada said, it's permanent. As a result of such activity, the performer is immediately recognized. Lord pays attention when you do this. The only distinction between materialistic activities and spiritual activities is that material activities is performed only to satisfy one's own senses, whereas spiritual activity is meant to satisfy the transcendental senses of the Supreme Person of God, Sri Krishna. Isn't it natural? What does that mean? Isn't it natural for anyone to reciprocate with others according to the way they approach him or her? Come on, devotees, think your day-to-day life. If someone treats you respectfully, oh Prabhu, oh Mata, you're so nice, so kind, Prabhu. Who is there? Oh, Rasa Vigraha Prabhu, thank you for joining. Rasa Vigraha Prabhu is a very active member in Orlando. Rasa Vigraha Prabhu, you are so nice. How do you feel? You also feel like to say, yes, same way. You want to reciprocate. Now, when somebody, generally we don't do, but if somebody is very mean to us, we don't maybe act mean to it, but we feel hurt and just want to go away. We don't want to stay there. So if someone treats us respectfully, we also give them respect. If they mistreat us, we may stay away from them or even tend to speak or act against them, as the case may be. And actually I did when I was a teenager. If somebody mean to me, oh boy, I used to really was not a good person. I'm still not a good person. I'm trying by the mercy of the Vaishnava. But I would talk bad if somebody was doing bad to me. For instance, a teacher in the classroom gives the same lecture to all the students without discrimination. Isn't true? But if some students are more eager to learn and approach the teacher with relevant inquiries on the subject, the teacher becomes especially happy with them and explain to them more, isn't? I mean, I remember in my high school life also, the teacher becomes especially happy with that student. On the other hand, the teacher scolds or even punishes a mischievous student. This is not the teacher's partiality, but a natural response towards the student's behavior. Similarly, although the Lord is equal to everyone, he gives more attention to his surrendered devotee. Why? Because they are depending on him. This favoritism is not God's fault, but his ornament, that he has a Bhakta Vatsal quality. Lord Krishna is specially inclined to his devotees because they approach him with devotion, sincerity, service attitude. They seek his shelter and depend on him. Everybody understood so far? Because some of the pastime you'll see, like, why Krishna does this? Why? He's impartial actually. He's equal, but he's reciprocate. Impartial is not enough. He reciprocate according to your devotion. If you really hate and go away from him, what can he do? Like imagine if God is a fruit tree. I gave an example other day. And you are hungry. You say, I don't care these fruits. You keep on walking. Well, is it the fault of the tree? No. Tree is open to give the fruits whoever comes. So Krishna is like this. Now I put another question. I like those questions. I myself make some. Does God hate bad people? Because we're going to talk on third day, killing Kongsa, Chanura, Mustika, Kobolaya, Pido, many. But I'm just giving you the foundation now. I will not discuss that time. No, God hates no one. Period. God disapproves the nefarious activities of demoniac people. But he never disowns them. He endeavors to rectify their mentality. He is willing to forgive their misdeeds. But he never interferes with their little independence. Everybody must remember that. We all have independence. He never interferes with our independence. And Srila Prabhupada, very nicely, he in one purport of 5th canto, 5.18.3, I think, I remember, it's a very famous one. I like those, some of the Prabhupada's quotes are so relevant to our life. Why does Supreme Personality of Godhead permit sinful activities? Because everything has to be permitted by Krishna. Well, why does he permit? This question sometimes we ask. And Prabhupada answered there. He said, I'm paraphrasing, Supreme Lord does not want any living being to act sinfully. Period. Krishna doesn't want anybody to act sinfully. He begs him through his good conscience to refrain from sin. Do you know that? I don't know, maybe you guys are all wonderful devotees, so you may not know what I'm talking. Sometimes if we have a bad mentality, within our own conscience, conscience, not consciousness. Conscience means called Vivek Buddhi. Vivek Buddhi means maybe I should not do it. I know it is bad, maybe I should not do it. No, he was so mean, I'm going to do it. Maybe I should not do it. It is not you. It is actually Krishna from within, super soul, giving this idea. don't do it. But we cannot see him, we cannot hear him directly. We think like, well, okay, maybe I have to go to jail if I get caught. I don't care, maybe I'll just kill him because he is so mean. Like it goes on like a battle. At the last minute, like, I don't care, I'm going to do it. And finally Krishna feel hard, but he's giving the permission. Consequently, you have to suffer for it. So when someone insists upon acting sinfully, this is what happened to Kamsa. The Supreme Lord gives him the sanction to act at his own risk. Remember this, to act at his own risk. Where did Krishna say this? 15:15. Matta smriti jnana apahanancha. No one can do anything without the sanction of the Lord. But if he's so kind that when the conditioned soul persists in doing something, the Lord permits the individual soul to act at his own risk. This is Prabhupada's final conclusion he gave. Very nice. So no one can do anything without sanction of God, but he gives after he fails to convince that soul. Soul is so stubborn. And if you don't know stubborn, I know stubborn. I used to have a lot. Nowadays, maybe it doesn't pop anymore. I used to have stubbornness. Lord Krishna supported the Pandavas. This is a good example. In the battlefield of Kurukshetra against the Kauravas, against the evil Duryodhana. But at the end of battle, I really want everybody to hear this, what Prabhupada said. So unique. Prabhupada writes, it's in 3rd canto, 3rd chapter, 13th purport. Prabhupada writes, very sweet. He said, at the end of the battle, Duryodhana was lying on the ground with his thigh broken. You all know the story, how Bhima broke his thigh, Krishna gave the secret. Krishna is so lovable, unbelievable. Everybody knows that story. Now I'll just give one, because sometimes I can't control it. Even though I told no pastime, just lay the foundation of Siddhanta. Bhishma Dev was irritated by Duryodhana night before. He said, grandfather, you are always favorable. You are favorite to those grandchildren, not us. Can you imagine you talking to your chief commander instead of inspiring and appreciating? He's like criticizing. You are not doing your job. You are a fighter, but you had 2 boons. What boon Bhishma Dev has? Everybody remembers? He can die whenever he wants. He got it from his father. Ittha mrittu. Second boon he got from his guru after defeat Parashuram, that he will never be killed. Wow! In the battlefield. He will not be killed and he can die whenever he wants. What more do you want? You are already winner. But Duryodhana is pointing out, but you are acting always favorable to your favorite grandchildren, as if we are no good. And Bhishma Dev got angry. All right, bring 5 arrows now. This is after the war. After the war, they go to their camp. So he brings the 5 arrow. Prabhupada gives this story. And he brings the 5 arrow. He holds the 5 arrow and he chanted a mantra. Tomorrow morning, with this 5 arrow, I'll kill the 5 Pandavas. Finish. You save it for tomorrow, till tomorrow. Okay, no problem. Krishna, what does he do? We learn from this. We have to act like a Pandava, not act like a Duryodhana. We have to be very careful. The story is funny, but we have to be careful who you follow. So Krishna tell Arjuna, see how it is. When an elderly senior devotee tell, don't put logic and reasoning, just do the service. Said, go to Duryodhana, ask him the favor that he said he will favor you when you defeated the Jaksha. Long time back. You remember? Arjuna said yes. He said he will give you whenever you ask. Go and say, I came to ask that favor. And when you say, what is it? He said the 5 arrow the grandfather Bhishma gave. He is not asking, what is this 5 arrow, Krishna? Can you explain me what is the use of 5 arrow? We have so many arrow. We put a logic. Why the president said like this? Why Maharaj said like this? I have a work. I have to take care of this. You think like the senior devotee don't know? It's like this, we put logic. Don't put logic. Be like Arjuna. Arjuna did. He went straight, and Duryodhana says, "Oh, after the war in the Kshatriya culture, so nice. They're like a friend. They're like brother. No more enemy, because war is over. It's evening time." So he said, "Please come in." So you remember he narrated the story. He said, "Yes, yes. And you remember you promised you'll do me a favor when I said, okay, when I need it. So I came to ask the favor." "Oh, so you don't want to fight? You want your kingdom back?" No, 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 no. I will fight. I'm not looking for the free kingdom. I just came, the 5 arrow that Bhishma, the grandfather gave you, just give it to me. Here, no problem. Why Arjuna did this? Because Arjuna is thinking, why Duryodhana did this? Because he's thinking, 5 arrow, we have thousands of arrow. What is the difference? He doesn't see the spiritual value of Bhishma Dev. He doesn't see in that way. He's looking from a material attitude. So as a result, he comes back. He gives to Krishna, and Krishna immediately breaks it. He didn't even tell them why, because he knew. Then in the morning, Bhishma Dev is meditating. Every day he meditates. Anybody knows who he meditates? Krishna, Bhishma Dev, every day. A particular form of Krishna. Partha Sarathi form. This is his Ishtadev, eternal. That's the planet he goes. There is a planet actually, Partha Sarathi planet. So Bhishma Dev is meditating and his eyes closed, halfway eyes closed. No Mataji's comes when Bhishma Dev meditate. But that day when Mataji came, and Vedic culture, Mataji, they have a big veil, Gumta, veil. So she paid obeisances and she's uttering some mantra to pay obeisances to grandfather. And Bhishma Dev, half eyes closed, is thinking, oh, Duryodhana is very happy. Today I'll kill the Pandavas. I already took a vow with those 5 arrows. So he probably sent his wife to get the blessing. Okay, I'll give the blessing. He's thinking in his mind. So he says, Saubhagyavati Bhava, become most fortunate, live a long life with your husband. And okay, very good. And the Mataji, get up. Then Bhishma Dev is thinking, let me check if it is Duryodhana's wife or I did a mistake. That was Draupadi. He's saying, I took a vow last night that I'll kill the Pandava today, and I just gave her blessing that have a long life with your husband. So then Bhishma Dev asked, how did you come here? And why did you come here? He said, oh, Vasudev, Krishna sent me to get your blessing. Bhishma Dev got angry like anything. This is Krishna. When he favors in every angle. You will be always protected. Look at the Pandava. In one night, how many things took place and how Krishna channeled everything so nicely. Anyway, back to this. Even though Duryodhana is an evil spirit, but what is the mentality of Krishna? Is Krishna actually only favoring the Pandavas, not Duryodhana? But Prabhupada writes here, very nice. I'm going to read what Prabhupada writes. This is in 3.3.13. The fall of Duryodhana, who is lying down on the ground, the leading son of Dhritarashtra, was not pleasing to the Lord. Although he was on the side of Arjuna, it was he who advised Bhima how to break the thigh of Duryodhana. Look at it. Duryodhana, Krishna told Duryodhana how to break the thigh. But at the same time, Lord Krishna is not feeling happy that Duryodhana is dead. He wanted him to surrender. But he is not happy to award such punishment because the living entities are originally his part and parcel. He is harder than thunderbolt for the wrongdoer and softer than the rose for the faithful. The wrongdoer is misled by bad associates and by ill advice, which is against the established principles, is to live by the principles laid down by the Lord, not disobey his established laws. which are enacted in the Vedas and the Puranas for the forgetful living entities. So beautiful. That means Krishna was never against Duryodhana. It is Duryodhana who created his misfortune, unfortunately. And this is what we learn. Now, another case also, I'm just giving you a few very quick, I'll finish here. That Lord Krishna also tried several times to give advice to Duryodhana. You know, he went as a messenger, give 5 land. He said, no, not even the space of the whole of the eye needle. Yeah. So the conclusion is, even in Ramayana, I remember now, Ravana kidnapped Sita Devi. Lord Ramchandra gave him several opportunities to return Sita. Was not like a Ravan want to go and kill. That was not Ram's intention to kill Ravana. Ram gave an opportunity. He sent Hanuman. He gave a negotiation, communication, but everything failed. Shishupal was envious of Krishna, always blasphemed him since childhood. Krishna tolerated him several times, but finally beheaded him with Sudarshan Chakra. So what is the conclusion? We come, God wants to rectify the mentality of miscreants. When they become too adamant, he punishes or kills them, not out of revenge, but to liberate them from their demoniac mentality. Now I'm going to give you another question I write. You try to look at a new dimension of equality now. Now I'm going to ask you a question, because mostly you all are parents, I hope. When a child is well behaved, the mother appreciates or hugs him or hugs her. But when the same child is mischievous, she chastises him, gives time out. Both are expression of her love, or one is punishment, one is not. Nitya Gauranga Prabhu?
Both are expressions of love.
Very good understanding. Although one appears pleasant and others seems harsh, isn't? Similarly, mothers dealing with the child is tuned to the mood and the need of the child. But her underlying emotion is love, as you say. The same thing, same holds true in Krishna's or God's case. When God is strict with some people and punishes them, that is only out of his compassion upon them. When he kills a demon, he's just liberating him from demoniac life. Thus the Lord is well-wisher of everyone. He shows compassion on different people in different ways as per their condition. Though apparently Krishna punishes, kills the demon, he looks for reason to show them his causeless mercy, liberates them. Putana case is another example. I'll end with this Putana's case, just to brief story, because it's a long story. I'm not going to tell the story. But you know the famous verse that Uddhava quote, Oho Bakiyan Stanakalakutam Digam Sayayapad Api Asadhi Leve Gatim Dhatri Uchitam Tatannam Tangba Dayalu Saranam Brajema. That this sloka was spoken by many, even Pundarik Vidyanidhi. This is a famous sloka in 3.2.20. How shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he who granted the position of mother to who? A she-demon, Putana, although she was unfaithful, and she prepared deadly poison to be sucked from her breast. You know, in the Putana story, if you recall, when Putana came, Mother Yashoda allowed her to come inside because she looked so beautiful, like a Lakshmi. So she thought, my son is so beautiful, he deserved to be hugged by the demigod's wife or Lakshmi. It doesn't matter, he's coming. So when Putana came, Putana had one special quality. Putana gave a resume to Kangsha when Kangsha was depressed. How good she is as for killing the children. She said there is a 14 types of Rakshasi, and the Kotora is the best. Anyway, I'm not going to give the whole story. It was very nice. At the end of the resume, she writes, or she spoke, I love, this is my greatest delight, to twist the neck of a newly born child and drink their tears. This is the best delight. Kangsha said, you are hired. Immediately hired. So that Putana, when she came and she looked at Krishna eye to eye, Krishna closed his eyes. And every Acharya gave a commentary. Now, why Krishna closed his eye? Krishna, this is Krishna's nature. Even though apparently he killed Putana, Krishna closed his eye because one Acharya, Sanatana Goswami says, Krishna was calling Shiva that, you know, I'm not good at drinking poison. She has a smeared poison in your breast. And Krishna, Shiva, your name is Nilkanta. You are expert of drinking poison. So come and drink the poison before I drink the milk. So that's the one reason he closed the eye to call the Shiva. And then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives another example. He said, because Krishna is so merciful that Putana was feeling disturbed by looking at Krishna's eye. Why? Because when eye to eye, when you look at Krishna's eye, be careful. When you go to see the deity or your temple altar, don't look at the eye because your material problem will be finished. Oh, I'm sorry. You want material problem to be finished. So yes, you should look at the eye. But I'm just going in the other way. So when she looked at Krishna's eye, she immediately felt uncomfortable. She said, I am so good at killing the newly born child. This is 7 days old child. Krishna was 7 days. And how come I am falling in love with this child? She's thinking, this is not my nature. I'm a Rakshasi. I love to twist their neck and bring the sap of their sadness. They're dead instantly. But I'm falling in love with a child. So she felt uncomfortable. And Krishna thought, this is not good because her form is actually, anybody remembers how many miles is her body? 16 miles. So Krishna immediately thought, I better close my eye because if she looked at my eye to eye, she will dissolve her demonic Rakshasi. She was not a demon. Rakshasi is lower than the demon. One step lower. Demon is higher than Rakshasi. Because they are Rajagun, Rakshasi is Tamagun. But Kangsha, because Kangsha accepted her as a sister, so Kangsha is a mix. He's a Rakshas and Asur, both. Because he considered her as a sister. He addressed her as a sister a few times. So then, anyway, then Krishna closed his eye. He said, no. If she actually dies right now, she will exhibit 16 miles form. It will scare my mother. I better not even look at her. She should take me. She came to take me. I want to deliver her outside my mother's house, not here. So Putana took. Of course, where did she drop? Where did Krishna drop him? On Kangsha's breakfast garden. Kangsha's breakfast fruits would come from that place. No Brajavasi ever went there. It was actually a sinful place. And she destroyed it. That was nice. At least maybe Kangsha didn't have a good breakfast. I don't know that day. I didn't research on that. But anyway, so my point is, if you look at this story, even one thinks of Krishna with anger or envy, by such constant thinking, one gets liberated by his mercy. Then what to speak of lovingly remembering him and serving him? When the mind is somehow or other fully absorbed in Krishna, the material part is very soon vanquished. And the spiritual part, attraction to Krishna, becomes manifest. Therefore, Bhagavatam says, one should always focus one's mind on Krishna somehow or other. What did Rupa Goswami say in Nectar of Devotion? I hope everybody remembers. This is a famous sloka. We must remember. Tasmat kenapi upayena mana Krishna nivesayet. By any means, just absorb in Krishna. Very nice. So I'm going to end with the last one. is the attitude is greater than magnitude, because we will see in Mathura Lila. Tomorrow we'll discuss Dwarka Lila, next day Mathura Lila, and next day Vrindavan Lila, and the final day is the Birth Lila. And this is Gorachand Prabhu's idea, because we have many things to discuss otherwise. So attitude is greater than magnitude. It is very important, because in our day-to-day life, even in our Alachua community, some devotee may feel, like I'm not doing much. Pran Govinda is every day in the temple. He's doing better. I'm probably not good. No, actually, he's taking too much risk of coronavirus. He goes, somebody already told me. He went to Bhakti Charma these days. He doesn't care or something. What? Oh, maybe I should be careful. Or maybe I should not be careful. Let's go up and down in the mind. Mind disturbed. Nobody ever heard it probably, because their mind is sober. But this is the conclusion. Even in the case of the devotees, the Lord is not partial towards those devotees who do more service. This is very important. And neglect others who do less service. Krishna accepts the mood in which a service is done. Murkhavadati Vishnaya Dhiravadati Vishnave Ubhayastu Saman Punnam Bhavagrahi Janardana. This is important. One day we can discuss that. But the conclusion of this sloka, understanding, for him, for Krishna, the attitude behind the service is more important than the magnitude of the service. Can you remember some example? Lord Ramchandra, Radhanath Maharaj emphasized this. I remember Radhanath Maharaj emphasized this again and again, that how Lord Ramchandra was equally pleased with Hanuman. Even Ram Prasad Maharaj, he emphasized that the same point. Ramapad Swami. Ramapad Swami mentioned this, that Ramchandra was equally pleased with Hanuman, who was bringing a huge boulder. And the small squirrel, what was he bringing? Big boulder? No. Bringing some grains of sand. For the construction, what the grain of sand will do the construction of the bridge, if you really think materially. Gosh, sand? I mean, you're talking about squirrel sand. How many years it will take to build a bridge between India and Sri Lanka with the squirrel? That's not the point. The point in devotional service in this world, some people are rich, some people are poor, some people often suffer, some enjoy more. The suffering people often compare, it is true, themselves with others and say that God is partial. They do. They blame God for their misery, while the happy people ignore God in their enjoyment. That is also another problem. So this shows the people's tendency to claim credit for their happiness and blame God for their distress. However, mature devotee like the Hare Krishna people sees both distress and happiness as God sent as a result of their own past deeds. And they do not blame Krishna as partial. So the conclusion is, Lord is not partial to anyone, but just to reciprocate with the moods and deeds of people. I'll end here. If there is any comment, question in 1 minute, otherwise we'll end for today.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you for such a wonderful class. I have one question regarding Putana. In the Krishna book, we read that Putana's body was, after she died, the Vrajavasis rescue Krishna on top of her. And then they actually chop her into pieces because she was almost 12 miles. She was spread across 12 miles range. So they chopped her and then put her on fire. But
yes,
that you said she actually fell down in the Kamsa's garden. So I just wanted to
clarify.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when we hear that so many demons came to Vrindavan with Putana, so many demons came and they killed so many children. You hear this? It is in the commentary that the demons killed children in Vrindavan. Is it possible Brajavashi can be reached by a demon? No, absolutely not. The material world cannot touch the Brajavashis. But Yogamaya created an atmosphere where those demoniac mentality, people need to be delivered, and they took birth in between the house of Brajavashis. Just that, so that they will be killed. The demon only got killed by the demons. No Brajavashi ever touched by demon. Impossible. Similarly, near Nanda Maharaj's palace, at that time Krishna was in Nandagaon. Gokul, sorry. There was a big garden, 16 miles garden, and Putana's body was 12, so it's kind of accommodating. And 16 miles garden is for the Kongsa's breakfast. Kongsa doesn't eat by himself, he eats with all the demons. You know, they all sit down in a line like a big, whatever, breakfast table or something. So, and all the breakfast preparation, fruits and everything would come from that garden. So when Putana was carried, she was flying actually. She was flying to go to Kongsa. At that time, Krishna squeezed her nipple at one point. That Putana had a power of 60,000 elephant. Bhima had only 10,000. Putana had 60,000 elephant. She tried her best to push this finger of Krishna with 60,000 elephant power, could not move. So she fell at this garden at that time because Krishna is lost. You know, every name Krishna has origin is in Vrindavan. That was the name came Krishna Adukshaja. Adukshaja means they could not find. Can you imagine 12-mile body of a girl, how big her breast is? All these ladies, you know, Mother Jashoda and Rohini Maya, Mother Jashoda, Rohini Maya, they felt guilty whole life. Why? Because when Krishna was taken by Putana, Mother Jashoda could not believe what just she saw. She lost her only beloved life is Krishna. She lost. She just saw this lady came and just fly away. She could not stand even, she fainted. So then she thought, how is possible? I could not even rescue my child. But who rescued Krishna? All those maid servants. So she always feel little guilty to tell them or think that they have less love. She feels herself has a less love than them. Because in the real crisis, when Putana took Krishna away, who rescued Krishna? Nanda Baba was not there. Nanda Maharaj went to pay the tax to Kongsa, same day. And while he was coming back, he was crying. Of course, there's a whole story I'm not going to go through. It's a wonderful story. But Mother Jashoda's maid servant, they went. Then they looked at they could not find Krishna. So they went back and brought a not 32 feet ladder. It was written like this, like a 32 feet ladder. So her breast was so big from the ground that they have to climb this ladder. Then they found Krishna in between the two breasts and he's playing with her nipple. So they immediately declare, Adokshaja, who was not found before, now is found, or rich, or sin. So that was the name of Krishna, Adokshaja. Then they brought down back. So then all the Nanda Maharaj's people went and cut her body there. It gives you answer? I cannot hear. You have to unmute.
Sorry, I was speaking on mute. I thought it was contradicting, but I think you clarified because the 16 mile, the garden, which Kansa's garden, which is 16 miles, which
Yes.
actually, which was almost close to Gokula, right? It was almost,
Yes.
so yeah, it makes sense now. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Any other reflection? Otherwise, we end here. And we'll see you tomorrow. 7
One
o'clock.
other question, if you don't mind, one other question I have, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
You mentioned that the Krishna is impartial, like the sun, right? Shining, sunshine is everywhere. And if people are sitting in their rooms and saying that I don't see the sunshine, it is their fault, because when they come out and they can actually see the sun. It's like Krishna is the sun. I mean, he's impartially spreading the rays all over the place. But then, how do you, when somebody tries to come out, wants to get the sun rays, but the clouds come in between and cover, in spite of his desire to get the mercy of Krishna, how do you relate these clouds to? What is it, like anarthas or aparadas that they are doing? That's why even they want to get the mercy of Krishna, they are not able to get it.
It's a long, deep-rooted, impersonal conception. Because this personal conception, Prabhupada says we are born with 3 attachments. Bhagavad Gita 4:10 in the purport. Prabhupada says that we are born with 3 attachments.
Mm-hmm.
And those attachments actually the deep-rooted of all the anarthas. First thing, I'm paraphrasing, if you read in Bhagavad Gita, you'll see 4.10 in the Vitarago Bhayakruda Manmana Mavasrita Bhavo Gena Tapasa Putam Madbhava Magata. In the middle of the purport, you'll see this. He writes that we are born with the negligence of spiritual life. I don't know if you ever saw any child born and saying, "Where is Krishna? I miss him." I didn't see it. I didn't do it. I mean, I don't remember when I was born and like this, but I don't think I said, or my mother never told me that. So negligence of spiritual life means actually nobody's looking for God when they're born, except few, like Narottam Das Thakur. He would not take the grain. You know the story. And then Krishna Das, one of the associates, he said, "I think I know the problem, why he's not taking the grain." So he cooked the sweet rice, offered it to the Lord, and bring the sweet rice as a prasadam. Then Narottam Das Thakur took it. But that's a very rare case. Very rare case. Somebody really are looking for spiritual life from childhood. Parikshit Maharaj was very rare, extremely rare. Those. Second is the fear of spiritual identity, separate identity. You may think like, what does that mean? We are not afraid. Yes, we are. Because we don't know. We have some conception of this world and we are frustrated, we are disappointed. We think like, wow, I want to know before I jump in it. I want to surrender, but when am I going to get it? Prabhu, can you tell me like what will happen when I surrender? No, just surrender, you'll find out. No, what I'll get it after, before I surrender. It's very hard. And then comes Buddhism. This Buddhism is a very, you can say, virus or viral. It's the same concept that they're spreading everywhere. Why? Because people like that concept. I live for myself. Let me decide what I want. Why do I have to like obey the way you guys will tell me? How do I have to meditate? How do I, this deep down in our heart, yeah, let me figure it out my way. Can I please just let me do my way? Deep down in our heart, we want to calculate. We don't want to, yeah, I want to surrender, Prabhu, for sure. I want to surrender. But what is there in the surrender? You mean I have to, somebody told me funny, because I'm a candidate of sannyas. He said, is it true like, I said, why don't you apply for sannyas? I won't say his name because you might know him. He said, oh, no, because they take all my money, I heard. I said, really, you are afraid and you want to be sannyasi and you are afraid to hold on, you want to hold on to all the money you have. What kind of attitude is that? It's very hard. It's very hard to give up and completely depend. I mean, if you look at the logic that Prabhupada gave the example, you throw the child in the sky or in the air, And the child is giggling because why? He has the assurance that you, as a father, you'll catch it. Imagine one time you do the mistake and the child really falls and break his whatever. I hope not, never. And the next time you try to play that game, the child will not like it. So we have so much disappointment in this world. We broke trust. We got cheated. We got hurt by the leaders. We got hurt by the friends and all this. It's very difficult. Those are the, it's our own. The operation is within. But good association, discussion, it will eventually relieve. We have a one chart. I'll send it to you, all the anartha charts. You can meditate on it. And you can see just by hearing those pastimes of each anarthas, each demons in Vrindavan, you can remove each anarthas. Check out, check out, check out. It takes about 1 month. Every day you hear one pastimes, one anartha is gone. It's nice. So yes, maybe I'll send you this one. Thank you. So we'll end here.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Jai Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Vancha Kalpatarubhishya Kripa Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Now, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Gurudev.
Yeah.